to the webinar, which hosted by Nuvoton. My name is Jenny. I'm the marketing, which is in charge of the microcontroller. So let's start today's webinar. This is the topic today. We're going to introduce our 5-volt low-power industrial-grade microcontroller. This is the agenda today. First of all, we were going to introduce our company profile. Due to that, many customers may not be familiar with Nuvoton. So today we will start from the company profile of Nuvoton and show some history of the Nuvoton. And then we were going to enter our topic today, the M251 to 52, the product introduction. We will start from the features and we will show some target applications, and final one we will have we will introduce the online resources of which provided by Nuvoton. And today we will have our EVB, our new maker board, the developing board, which we will have on sale. So later we'll show the QR code on the screen, so you can use you can scan the QR code, and then you can have the questionnaire, and then you can have the discount of our new maker board. Okay, then this is the history from Nuvoton. The first one we have spin off from the Winbond since 2008, and the capital now is around 3 billion. And we have been IPO in the Taiwan Stock Exchange since 2010. Okay, that show all of our branches over the world. The headquarters of Nuvoton is in Hsinchu Science Park in Taiwan, and we also have our office in Korea. And we have the local sales and also the FAE to give customer the technical support. So we have the branch in Korea and also in Japan. And recently we acquired Panasonic technologies. So we also have the branches in Singapore, in Japan, and also in America, in China. So that's overall of our branches. Okay. And this is the 4 business groups of Nuvoton. The first one is the microcontroller. The microcontroller business group, we have different kind of core. Depends on different kind of application. We can support different kind of microcontrollers. And the second one is the smart home groups, which we have different kind of products, especially the audio SoC and also the speech and the audio codec and also the deck amplifier inside this business group. The third one is the cloud security. The cloud security business group, we have like the Super IO, which almost the second vendor over the world, and we supply to like Dell and HP, and also like Chromebook, and also LG and Samsung is our customers. We also have the power switch IC and also the BMC, different kind of this kind of IC which can be used especially in notebook or in the desktop. The third one is the manufacturing. The manufacturing which we which we leverage from Windows. This is the 6-inch manufacturing process. So actually, all of our products is not being manufactured by our fab. This one is the 6-inch, especially the high voltage process. So like the power management IC or some embedded logic mixed signal process will be shown in our fab. Okay, let's have the introduction of all of our microcontroller. The first one is the 8051, which we start to develop since 1990s, which have over 20 years experience, especially in the 8051. And the second one, we have the ARM9 core, and especially now, which we're focusing on the industrial grade products and also the GUI, the graphic user interface application. And then in 2016, in 2014, we have the Cortex-M0 license from the ARM. And this one, we focusing on the industrial grade control, and also recently we have launched a new product which is also the automotive grade. And this Cortex-M0 products is the most comprehensive platform in Nuvoton. Then we have licensed the Cortex-M4 products in 2014, and this Cortex-M4 products, which focusing more on the high performance platform, especially the high security products, which means the much high performance and also much higher grade of the microcontroller. So we will introduce the Cortex-M4 to our customers. And in 2016, we have the Cortex-M23 license from ARM. And this one, we most focusing on the IoT security application. Especially Nuvoton is the first company which have the high security trust zone built in the Cortex-M23 silicon all over the world. So this one, we much focusing on the high security products such as the bank card or the water meter, electricity meters, which we have much more focusing by the Cortex-M23, especially the M2351. Okay, let's see our overall platform. This is the overall microcontroller family in Nuvoton. The overall products, which comes up to 1,000 part numbers in the Nuvoton's product line. Based on different kind of core, we support different kind of microcontroller. The first one is the 8051 entry level, and also we have the M0, which is a much more comprehensive platform from Nuvoton. And then we have the M23 core, and in M23 core, we can divide it into the one you see, the lock, means the trust zone. So we can divide it into two different kind of family. The one is with trust zone, and other one is without trust zone. And today we will much more focusing on the one without trust zone, which is called M251 and M252. And these two series we can support from 1.8 to 5 volts. So either the industrial grade applications or the low power applications can use the M251 and M252 series. And then we go for the higher performance M4. And this one we can run up to 200 megahertz, which is our mainstream products in M480s. And also we have the 5 volts M451 and also M452. This is the 5 volt we can support. For the M480, we can run up to 200 megahertz. And the highest one is the ARM9 the R9 products, we can support up to 300 megahertz, and we have much more focusing on the human-machine interface or the graphic user interface. So this is the applications that need much higher performance microcontroller, and also needs the graphic engine and also the audio codec inside this kind of microprocessor. So this is all is our 5 different kind of groups, different kind of families that we contribute to our microcontroller platform. This is the ecosystem that Nuvoton tries to build. Besides the microcontroller platform we just showed, we also dedicate in the developing platform. And this developing platform, which is most important to our microcontrollers, especially that the microcontroller need to be programmed. So by the environment and also the debugger programmer will be very, very important. So as you can see that the IDE, we can support 3 different kind of IDE. The first one is Tail, and we also have IAR and also the Eclipse, which we made for our service called New Eclipse. 3 different kind of developing environment. And then we have our own debugger and programmer. This one is the one that we developing by ourselves. So for different kind of series, depends on the 8051 or the M0 and 23. We can use the debugger and also the programmer to be applied to each series. So if you are developing by our 8051 and now you want to maybe change to Chorus M4, the debugger and also the programmer will be the same. So don't need to worry that need to spend different kind of money and to support different kind of debugger and programmer. And besides the debugger and programmer, we also have the BSP, which we can support the sample code, for example, like the timer or PWM or GPI or different kind of peripheral. We have each sample code to support customers' development. Okay, then besides of the developing platform, we also have our different kind of reference design. You can see that the first one is the DALI, which is the digital address lighting interface. This kind of wire control to the lighting. This protocol we have developing by our team, and we have now we have very many successful story by our DALI 2. And also in Korea, we have some customer now has used our products to develop the DALI, and also they can pass the certification by our protocol we provide. So this is the DALI. And for the BMS, we can have different kind of product line to support different kind of segments. For example, in the power tool or in the vacuum cleaner, and in the motorcycle or in the base station, they all need the BMS. So we can support different kind of products by different kind of segments. Besides these two, we also have the human-machine interface. The human-machine interface which can be divided into the mono LCD or the colorful LCD. This is called TFT LCD, and we have support different kind of reference design, and also we have the same tool to show you how to make your own menu in your our products. Maybe it is the home appliance, or it is the industrial control GUI interface. They can be all applied by our tool. And we also dedicated at the IoT platform. So in IoT platform, start from the node and the gateway, the hub, and to the cloud. We can support different kind of solutions to use it. Okay, and all of our products, besides we have the channels, which is our distributors, which are our certificate distributors. We also can the products, the sample or the developing board, which also can be bought from Nuvoton Direct, is our online store. And on the online store, you can see that we support different kind of samples or the developing tool. And also we have like the as you enter our website, you can see that we have the online support, which is called online chat. Use the online chat. You can maybe key in your problems or your issues when you face the Nuvoton's products, and we will have our FAE to be online support instantly. So this one, which is very special for especially on our website, you can go and maybe type in what kind of problems or issues you face, and we will have our SAE to solve your problems. This is the online chat. Okay, all of our microcontroller we have shipping to more than 60 countries, especially in the Asian or in USA and even in the Australia. We have different kind of supports in these different kind of regions. So especially in Korea, don't need to worry that when you use Nuvoton's products, you don't have any technical support you can get. We have the local office in Seoul, and we have the local sales and also the FAE in our office. So of course it is Korean. Don't need to worry that you need to speak English to them. Okay, so no need to worry about especially the local technical support. Okay, this is all of our new microcontroller platform. So start from 8051, which is pin-to-pin with different kind of series. So if now you choose, for example, if you choose the LQFP64, this kind of package, then maybe you think that the performance is too high, you want to downgrade to maybe 8051, then we also can have the ML51 to support the same package, so you don't need to change the hardware, and even the software, the API name is quite similar. So it will be very easy for our customers to change between different kind of series. Okay, because today's topic is industrial grade platform, so today we just use this one table to show that divided by different kind of industry, we have different kind of products, different kind of microcontroller we can support different kind of industry. So for example, that's if the customer they're using maybe the industrial automation in the factory, then start from maybe the GUI interface, they can use our online products, and for the machine to be the main controller, then you can use M480, and maybe for the connectivity when the machine wants to transmit different kind of data, then they looking forward to those high security products. Then you can choose the M2351. And for the maybe for the node, they just want to collect the data and then transmit to the hub. Then you can use the 8051, the MS51 series. So this is kind of table for your reference. You can use this table, and you can show that what kind of solutions that Nuvoton could provide to you. Okay, all of our industrial grade microcontroller, we can support very high product quality, which means that start from our manufacturer, which is supplied by the tier 1 foundry in the world. So I believe that you also know this kind of foundry and also the package house and also the testing partners that don't need to worry about Nuvoton's high quality for the industrial grade microcontrollers. And then all of our products we can support, especially the microcontroller, we can support the operating temperature from -40 up to 105 degrees. And for the microprocessor, the ARM9 products, we can support from -40 up to 85 degrees. It will also provide a very long product longevity. So especially for the industrial grade products, which customers may be very, very concerned about the longevity. So we fully commit to our customer while since our product shipping by Nuvoton, we can count start from the time we ship our customers. We can support up to 10 years of the life cycle. So you or your customer doesn't need to worry about the life cycle that Nuvoton could provide. And also we have very rich product peripherals to show that we just show that from the 8051, M0, M23, M4, and up to ARM9. So I believe that we have many products which might be suitable for your end products. You can find as much as you can in our product portfolio. And in the right side, we shows that our ESD ability and also our EFT ability differential by different kind of product line. So this is the table that we want to tell. Then before we start to enter our topic, we have today the webinar, we have the exclusive sale. So you can scan the voucher code by your phone, then you can get into our Nuvoton Direct. And today we will have our new maker board, which is our developing board, to be sold. And this is 70% off, so it is very cheap, especially compared to the original price. So this one is our QR code today, and we will have an exclusive sale for this board. Okay, this is the some of our customer is not very familiar with our products, how we name our products. So we just use this one page to show you the general naming rule of in Nuvoton. The first one is the M2, the red one, which means that we have different kind of cores. So maybe we have M0, which we'll call M0, M2, which means M2, M23. And also we have M4, which will be named as the M4. And for the third digit, which means that we have the 1, which means baseline, and also 2, which means that we add the USB function inside this series, and in the 4, which means that we have the LCD driver built in this kind of product, and 6, which means that we have both LCD driver and also the touch key driver inside this series. And the green one, which shows the package type. depends on depends on the package type. Then we will have different kind of alphabet to be represented. Then we will have the flash size and also SRAM size, which we show in different kind of digit. And the last one is the temperature, which means the operating temperature. So most of especially our microcontroller, we can support from -40 up to 105. So that is overall the naming rule. Okay. Okay, this is the trend of the Internet of Things. Especially we use this left side, we use this table to show, use this graphic to show that what is the factor to compose the Internet of Things. First one is a sensor node. Then we can maybe use a LoRa or use a Wi-Fi, Ethernet to transmit the data to the gateway. And then the gateway, when they collect the data, they can go through maybe Ethernet or Wi-Fi to the cloud. So we can do the things like the AI or the age counting in the cloud. And then we can use maybe the mobile phone or the tablet to monitor the status of the sensor node. So this is kind of the ecosystem in the Internet of Things. And in the right-hand side, you can see that especially the industrial grade of the sensor node will grow the most. Even in the 2025, you can see that it's 4.7 times than the 2018. So this is the sensor nodes that can grow since 2018 to 2025. So especially the industrial control in the sensor node, which will grow the most. Okay, and because that the COVID-19 in 2020, most of the I think also in the Korea is the same. That many people they work from home, or in the school, the students they also need to study from home. So especially the remote monitoring is very important in this kind of critical moment regarding to the COVID-19. So that is also another opportunity for the sensor nodes. So what Nuvoton offers, we offers not only low power products, but also we can support the 5V industrial grade, and also we can support the very rich peripherals in this kind of microcontrollers. So this is kind of 3-to-1 features inside one microcontrollers. So like the low power, we can support the normal run mode or the low power run mode. In the low power run mode, which means that the CPU is still awake and it can be work, but the clock can change to maybe the low frequency RC oscillator. So this is the mode that we define for the low power run mode. And in the low power UR mode, we can support the UR function. UR function normally work, especially in the power down mode. So this is called the low power UR. And also inside this M251 series, we can also support the RDC function with the VBAT, which means that when the VDD is off, but the RDC can still work by the independent power domain. So this is the RDC with VBAT we can support. Regarding to the 5V, we also can support operating voltage from 1.8 to 5.5 volts. So either the low voltage devices or the industrial grade products can be used for the 5V. And also the ESD and EFT is quite robust that Nuvoton can provide. For the referrals data, we will show that we have the, especially this is called PSIO, the Programmable Serial IO. This one which shows that it can be configured as the either UR, SPI, I2C. And the most important one is that the PSIO we can be configured as the proprietary serial interface. For example, like the double EEPROM or different kind of IR sensor or the LED strip, which means to be configured as proprietary one. So this one can be used PSIO. Okay, let's use these products to show what is the difference between M0, M0 Plus, and also the M23 core. Especially from the DMIPS, you can see that M23 perform much better than the M0 and M0 Plus, because that the instruction set and also the architect is quite different. So the M23, which adopt V8 and architect, and also for the latency and core mark, which we performs better. Besides this, you can see that the most right-hand side here, we can support much more instruction sets than the traditional Cortex M0 products. And besides this, you can see that we have the hardware divider instruction set and also the multiplier inside the M23, which doesn't support by the M0 or even M0 Plus. So this is quite strong. It depends on the especially the control and also the instruction set for the M23. Okay, M251 is a microcontroller based on Cortex M23, and we can run up to 48 megahertz, and the HIRC accuracy is about 2.5 within from -40 up to 105. And for the low power features, we can support the normal run 138 microamp per megahertz, and in the power down mode with RTC on is around 2.5 microamp, and if deep power down we can lower as the 1.7 microamp. And for the analog part, we have many different kind of features, such as the ADC, we can support up to 1 mega sampling per second, and the 2 set of analog comparator, 1 set of 12-bit DAC, and the 1 set of OP amplifier. And this is the overall M251 low power 5V series. Start from 32 kilobyte up to 256 kilobyte flash. And for the package, we can show that we support the lowest is TSOP 20, and then the highest one is LQP 128. For the USB M252 series is almost the same. The one is because that we built in the USB 2.0 full speed series. So this is the two products difference. Okay, that shows some different kind of remarkable features. The first one is called XOM. What's the meaning of the excluded only memory? We use this picture to show that if you want to call function, you can only exclude the function from APROM to XOM region. But if you want to access the data, it will be forbidden. This is the concept we want to show. So either the APROM or the on-chip flash memory, we want to call function. It can only be call function, but it cannot be accessed. It cannot be accessed or even read or write. It can be forbidden. And the second one is the USB crystalless function. This means that if you have used the USB full speed function, you may know that it need to be configured as the 48 megahertz clock. And inside this kind of scenario, we can use our HIRC, which means the high high frequency internal RC oscillator, we can support the clock of the USB function. So in this kind of scenario, you don't need extra crystal on your PCB board. You can just use internal one to supply the clock to the USB function. So this is also quite Nuvoton's pattern about the USB crystalless function. The third one is called voltage adjustable interface. So this is the concept. You can see that when a microcontroller wants to connect it with different kind of sensor, the sensor may have like the 1.8 volts or maybe 5 volts. So if the microcontroller they can only support the 1.8 volts, then will be no problem to connect with 1.8. But if it is the 3.3 volt VDD, then it has to be a level shifter between the sensor and the microcontroller. So that's why we have another power domain, which is called VDD-IO. Inside this VDD-IO, we can configure as the 1.8 to 3.6 volts. So this is a role of the power domain. So inside this one, you can configure as different kind of voltage from VDD or VDD-IO. So we can support different kind of power domain here. So what is the benefit? The one is that we don't need to have extra label shifter on our PCB board, and especially for the IoT system. Now they will have more sensors to connect it with the microcontroller. So if the microcontroller can be configured as 1.8 or 3.3 volts, then which will be much more benefit for your system. You don't need extra label shifter, can save the BOM cost from this kind of VDD-IO, the VAI interface that Nuvoton provides. Okay, the third one is the power mode. Inside this kind of power mode, we try to divide it into 4 different kinds of the power control. The first one is the normal run mode. Inside normal run mode, you can find that while the peripheral is off, the power or the clock of the peripheral is off, then the power consumption is around 138 microamp per megahertz. And in the idle mode, which means that the difference is that the clock of the CPU has been turned off. So the idle mode, the power consumption is around 2 milliamp. In the power down mode, which means that CPU doesn't need to work, so the clock or the power has been turned off. And in this kind of situation, the power consumption is around 2 microamp. In the deep power down mode, which means that also we cannot support the SRAM retention function. So you can see that the clock and also the power of the SRAM has been turned off. And in this kind of situation, the power consumption is around 1.7 microamp. So this is the 4 different kind of power modes that we try to use the figure to show that what is the feature of this kind of low power consumption. Besides of these 4 different kind of power modes, we also have like the normal power down mode or the power down fast wake up mode. Many different kind of power modes that can be suitable and can be configured to your systems. The first one is, and then we shows one of our Nuvoton's pattern, which is called Programmable Serial IO. In this kind of PSIO, we try to show you maybe by this kind of figure. You can see that it can be configured as this different kind of serial interface. And besides this different kind of serial interface, we can also support the proprietary one, which can be shown in the green one. You can see that maybe for the HTQ or the widget or the microwire, this different kind of proprietary one, we can use PSIO to configure and to generate this kind of PWM waveform. And then maybe when you connect it with the camera interface or the LED driver, DALI, this different kind of maybe lighting control, we can also use the PSIO to configure as this different kind of serial interface. So this is some of the benefits to use PSIO. The first one is that it can simplify the control. Especially when you compare with a GPIO, you use the GPIO to generate the microwire or the widget, it will consume much more time for the engineer to try to configure as this kind of programmable I/O. But if you use the PSIO, then can simplify the control. And besides to simplify the control, can also reduce the CPU loading maybe by the hardware. We just use the hardware to generate this kind of waveform, so can reduce the CPU loading. And also for the item which is called enhanced performance. In the enhanced performance, which means that we can have the better precise timing control for this kind of hardware by this kind of hardware, and also we can consume less SRAM resource by this kind of PSIO. So it has many advantage used by PSIO, and also we provide different kind of sample code to show you how to configure this kind of PSIO. Okay. The third part is the successful stories. Since the mass production of these products till now, we have many different kind of successful stories. And I try to divide it into 4 different kind of industry. The first one, of course, because it's a low power product, so it needs to be using the battery power devices. So like the data logger or different kind of RF module, such as the LoRa or the Wi-Fi, the NB-IoT, narrowband IoT module can be applied by the M251 series. The second one, also we have many successful stories in Korea, especially in the appliance. The appliance in Korea, as we know, that always the system always need the 5-volt operating voltage, and also especially many fancy appliances that be manufactured by Korean vendors. They will put a lot of smart functions inside this kind of appliance, so it needs very rich peripherals. So when we have the rich peripherals from our microcontroller, then we can connect it with different kind of sensor or different kind of modules by rich peripherals. The third one is the industrial control. Industrial control is very similar as the appliance, so it needs a 5-volt operating voltage, and also it will be very look up to the high immunity and also the longevity. These 3 different kind of features will be applied maybe to the smart lighting or the motor control, the BODC motor control, and also like the PowerDirector in the electricity grid. The fourth one, of course, it can be used in the consumer products, and we have many successful stories in Taiwan, in USA, and China now, which is like the gaming mouse or the gaming keyboard, and also the docking will be used for the consumer. The first one is the temperature or the humidity data logger in cold chain. Maybe let's have a much more description about what is cold chain. As you can see, that maybe the agriculture or the fish or the horticulture from the farm, it will be transmitted to the manufacturer, and then in the manufacturer, it will be transmitted to maybe the distribution center, and then finally to the retailer, maybe to 7-Eleven or a different kind of convenience store. And so in this kind of procedure or in this kind of flow, it will need data logger, which put in the maybe in the van. Then what is the function of this kind of data logger? It will, especially for the fish or for the agriculture, it needs a very precise temperature control for when they transmit to different kind of destination. So it will need a low power. Maybe it is like a USB dongle. And inside this USB dongle, it will record the temperature and also the humidity, maybe 1 hour or 2 hours. So when the goods being transmitted to the destination, the manufacturer, they will use this kind of USB dongle to log the data. So it will know if there is any abnormal things happen when the transmission. So this is kind of scenario that this kind of data logger needs. So actually, it needs a very low power microcontroller, and also it needs a USB. So when arriving the destination, they will use the PC to connect with the microcontroller to connect with the USB dongle and to log out the data. So this is kind of the block diagram of this kind of data logger. Okay. And the second one is the appliance. The appliance, which can be a vacuum cleaner or the rice cooker, and maybe the boiler or the thermostat. In this kind of appliance, which very emphasize about the smart things. The smart things, which means that it needs very rich peripherals to connect with maybe different kind of sensors, especially the vacuum cleaner or maybe the cleaning robot. It has a lot of sensors on this kind of appliance. So it needs maybe up to 10 set of URs to connect with different kind of sensors, maybe 3-axis sensors, 9-axis sensors, or different kind of tilt sensors, which can be connected with the URs. And then especially now the situation of the COVID-19. So maybe the products manufactured by the Korean has to be export to USA or to the Europe. Then it needs to have the one which is called safety library, the IEC 6730 Class B. This kind of safety library, which Nuvoton also provide to our customer for this kind of safety library, which can be tested even by the memory, the flash, the RAM, and also the peripheral can be used this kind of library to test our microcontroller and claim that we are very safe for before the maybe power up or maybe the normal rumble. So this is the kind of the safety library that Nuvoton can provide. And recently, we have the experience like we support a customer which use their appliance, but they need a function which is called VBAT. Why they need VBAT? Especially this kind of appliance, they're plugging to the maybe 5-volt AC to DC. because they are afraid when the power has been cut off, then maybe the data or the document they will be dismissed. So that's why customer they also need a VBAT function inside to support RDC. So it can keep the RAM retention, so it can have time to transfer the data or to warn customer that the appliance already been cut off, the VDD already been cut off. So that's why customer need the VBAT function inside RDC. And then we talk about the IoT, and especially recently it's very popular is the industrial IoT. And this kind of industrial IoT, we can divide it into two different kind of segments. Especially the sensor node, and from the sensor node, you need to the sensor node need to collect the data, and then they will transmit the data maybe through the LoRa or through the nanoband IoT to the gateway. So gateway can collect all of this data and then transmit to the cloud to do some calculations. So especially for the sensor node, you need a very low power microcontroller. Especially this kind of products, they use the battery to supply the VDD. So you need a very low power consumption. So the battery can be longer as possible. So this kind of scenario is quite familiar in the maybe smart factory or the smart farm, and even it's very recently it's very popular now is the 5G network, and also in the base station they usually use this kind of scenario. So that's why that you need a very low power sensor node to collect the data and then connect it with the hub or the gateway. So this is also another successful story in the sensor node. And then we shows that we have successful story also very popular in the smart grid of the Korean smart grid network, which is called PowerDirector. I think most of people knows what is PowerDirector means. PowerDirector is kind of electricity meter, especially when maybe the overcurrent or the overload from the smart grid, then it will be automatically cut off the power to try to protect the electrical circuit from damage. So you can see that this is the image, the graphic of the PowerDirector. And recently, PowerDirector also tried to emphasize the smart things. So especially it needs a lot of peripheral, such as the URSPI, maybe to connect it with not only the Power PLC module, but also like the 4G, BLE, and also RS485, different kind of modules. And also a strong point is like we provide up to 15 channels of ADC, and M251 provides up to 15 channels of ADC, and those ADC can be used to measure different kind of battery cell or the voltage on the PLC, and also the current on the PLC, and to detect if any current leakage happens from the smart grid. So this is kind of the one of our successful stories that can be used by the M251 series. Okay, and then we show one of the typical application that can be used by our M252 series. You can see that this is a docking, especially when you this year we have our company Nuvoton also have the experiment that work from home. When you work from home, you not only a notebook or a desktop you need, but also you need another, which is called dock. This kind of docking system station, it can maybe need to connect it with the keyboard or to the keyboard mouse or to the monitor. Then you need a lot of USB ports. What if, unfortunately, you don't have this kind of as much as the ports you need on the notebook? Then you need a docking. Then this kind of docking is used to export more port as possible. So this is one of the our typical application in the consumer products. So you can see that you need the SPI or the USB to connect it maybe with different kind of type A or type B USB. And also maybe you need an SPI to connect with the HDMI port. And also recently the smart dock have added the PD 3.0 inside this kind of whole system. So it may need an I2C to connect it with the external PD controller. So you can connect it with the Type C to extend the Type C and even downgrade to Type A port. Okay, and the section since we start the webinar, we always talk about IoT. So let's use this kind of graphic to show that we actually Nuvoton did a lot of efforts. We dedicate at this kind of whole system, especially for the IoT. You can see that start from the sensor node, hub, gateway, and to the cloud to do some AI-based calculations. You can see that we have different kind of platform to be suitable for different kind of scenario. And the one we want to show is that the LoRa. The LoRa, which also be developing by ourselves. The LoRa is a little bit different with the narrowband IoT, but it also be used in a scenario that need very low power and long range situation. So as we have the LoRa WAN, then we need a gateway to let the data connected to the cloud. And the thin network is the one that LoRa has, the LoRa owns. So you can see that we have this kind of demo board, which also can be bought from our Nuvoton online store, the Nuvoton Direct. And this kind of sensor, we can connect with the ARM9, connected to the ARM9 gateway. And from the gateway, we can support like the Ethernet or the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is in the backside. So we can connect it to the thin network, the cloud that LoRa went on. So we also sell this kind of demo kit in our online store. Okay, let's have a brief introduction of this kind of sensor devices. It can run a very light OS, which is called ARM Embed OS. And this kind of sensor, we are compatible with the LoRa WAN class A, class C, and depends on the different kind of country, it has different kind of modulation. So we can support either Korean, Taiwan, Japan, and also USA, different kind of wideband. So it also made by our M252 series, this kind of microcontroller. So we actually have this kind of sensor node devices and be sold online. And especially we can, if you have any and you are interested in this kind of devices, you can contact us, and we can have the further introduction to you about this kind of sensor, LoRa WAN. Okay. The last session that we want to show you, because many customers many of you may not be so familiar with Nuvoton, but actually we do a lot of effort in the development platform. Start from the developing board. Each kind of series, we have different kind of board to support to help our customer to realize the functions inside by this kind of developing board. And here we support 3 different kind of IDE, especially when you use CAL, the ARM CAL, then it is free of charge. So especially when you use M0 and 23 core, so you don't need to pay any kind of charge, any kind of fee. But as long as you use the Nuvoton's microcontroller, so you use the CAL IDE, then it will be totally free. And we support different kind of board support package, which means the API compatible or the peripheral simple codes we put inside the BSP. And we also have the software tool, which is very easy to use tool. Start from maybe when you configure the microcontroller, because microcontroller now have multi-function pin. So you can use the pin configure to choose that we have the UI interface. Then you can use this kind of graphic tool to choose that what kind of application, what kind of peripheral you need. Then it will automatically generate the IO setting for you. And also in the developing stage, we have a tool which is called Pin View. Inside this Pin View tool, we can monitor the IO state and also the parameter and the register by this kind of Pin View tool. And also we have a new tool which is called New Code Gen. Inside this New Code Gen, we can have a basically driver to automatically generate. So which is called New Code Gen. So when customer when you get our microcontroller, you don't need to write a very basically code by yourself. We automatically generate this kind of code gen for you. Okay, and these 3 different kind of stage, we think that our customer will face is from the developing stage or the mass production stage, and even the whole products have complete and shipping to the end customer. You will face the upgrade issue. So we provide 3 different we provide different kind of tools to help customers to solve customers' problems within different kind of steps. Okay, the last one is that we have some new information in our website, especially for the M251 and M252 series. So can just type in this kind of website, and then you will have a very brief introduction to show you what is the features of the M251 series. And also in this kind of table, we can have like the resource you can download. And also not only the documents, but also like the user manual and even the software tool or the driver can be downloaded in this kind of table. And besides this kind of resources, we also shows that we have if you are interested in which kind of products, then you can tap this kind of framework, and you can directly guide to our online store. Then you can buy this kind of microcontroller or the developing board online. And each of our developing board, we have the very short web link, behind our developing board. And this is for example, this is the web link, and enter the web link. You will show that how to use one page to quick start a project. So you can download the driver or the BSP from within one page. Then we will teach you how to quick start a project by this kind of website. And because there are many of you may not be so familiar with Nuvoton, we also have the YouTube channels. We put a lot of you can see that the technical introduction, technical features, maybe within 5 minutes, then you can know what is PSIO, or how to even run the sample code by this kind of tutorial videos. So we have actually Nuvoton has YouTube channels. So when you enter this kind of YouTube channels, then you will know that we support of course not only M251 to 52 series. We also have like the M0, 8051, M4 products. We have shoot a lot of videos, and we upload to this kind of our Nuvoton direct channels. So you can, if you are interested in this kind of tutorial, you can go and try to learn by yourselves. Okay, so last one is you show this picture again. In the right-hand side is our QR code. You can enter this kind of voucher code when at the shipping cart. Then you will get the discount, the 70% off discount if you are interested in today's webinar. Then you can scan the QR code. Then you can enter the voucher code, and you will get a 70% off for this kind of our developing board. Okay, and today we have an activity which is called. We have a small Q&A, and if you get all of these Q&A correct, then we will have another present for you. So what is the activity now? You can type in, maybe by your phone, by your smartphone, it's okay. You can type in this www.sli.do, the web link, and then you can, it will show the picture, enter event code. Enter event code, you need to type in the Nuvoton. And the third step, we can start the quiz now. So let's do it together, and then you have chance to get a present from Nuvoton. You have chance to get the free samples or free numerical board, our developing board. If we have 3 questions only, 3 questions, and then if you answer all of these questions correct, then you can have chance to get our free samples. It is very interesting. Please help us to type in the www.sli.do and then enter the event code Nuvoton. Then we have 3 small questions, 3 quiz for you. If you got all the answer correct, then we will have the present for you. Okay, last 1 minute. So it's very, very easy questions. If you have be very patient to hear the webinar, then you will think the question is very, very simple. We only have 3 questions. If you got all of the questions right, then correct, you can have chance to have our small gift for you. Okay, last 30 seconds. Let's do a very, very simple quiz. Last 20 seconds. Okay, let's start a quiz now. The first question is that what is the feature of PSIO? You need to choose one of the item. So okay. Then we will go to next questions. The second question is what is the new tool made for M251 series? Only 5 seconds left. Okay, the correct answer is a new code gen. Then we go to third question, last one. You have very high possibility to get the prize. The third one is what kind of sensor node M251 series supports? It is also very, very simple questions. I think most of people get the right answers. Okay, we will name the participants who get all the questions right. The first one, only 4 people got all the questions right. The first one is Kevin Lee, and the second one is Jason. The third one is Howard Kane. The fourth one is Speedy Park. So congratulations. We will contact you after the webinar and we will send you the gift. Okay? Thank you very much. So if you have any questions, wait a second. Okay, thank you. I think this is all of our webinar today, and thanks for your participants. And if you have any further questions besides M251, M252 series, then you can go to our website. We have a sales support email. You can write down your questions to us, then we will have our technical people to answer your questions. And the 4 people we got all questions right, we will contact you and we will send you the small gifts. Okay. Thank you for your time. 这个会给吗 ？Presentation part 给 Presentation part 会给吗？可以跟他联络，可以，应该会给。Okay. We actually we can send the presentation file. Maybe you can contact us, then we will send you the presentation file after that. CAN bus interface. Oh, we have another product. We have another product which we support the CAN bus. For the M0, we have a one called NUC131, and for the M4 products, we have the one which is called M480. Inside these two series, we have support the CAN bus interface. So maybe we left 5 minutes. If you have any questions you want to ask, you can use this time to ask me. This is the M480, and also for the NUC131 series, we support CAN bus interface. Okay. Oh, actually, we have the new code gen on our website, but maybe it's not so clear. You can email to us, and we will send you this new code gen driver to you, maybe by mail, or maybe we show you how to download from our website. Any questions, feel free to ask. And here we also have our FAE. If you have more questions, welcome to ask. Last 4 minutes. Okay. Okay, I think everyone is quite shy to ask a question, but it's okay. Maybe you don't have any questions now, but actually, if you are quite interested in any of our products, then you can email us. We have the sales support at Nuvoton.com. This website, this email, you can ask all of the questions. And of course, we have one which is on our website, which is called online chat. From the online chat, you can also ask the questions, and we will have FAE to support your any issues. So I think thank you for your attendees, and this is all of our webinar today, and thank you for your participants. So after the webinar, we will contact 4 of our winners. You can get our presents from Nuvoton. So that's all of our webinar today. Thanks. Bye bye. Thank you.